Well, we're in Lake Pleasant, Arizona. We have a Silverton 35 sidewalk. We've had the boat for over a year now, and we got the Sideshift installed just before the summer. So we're looking at 4 months. And over the 20 years that we've been married, my wife was a big avid boater, and I'm an angler. So we started off from everything from a inflatable boat to your 14-foot John boats, and then most recently we had a cabin cruiser. And with cabin cruiser, we found the kids loved it. We loved camping out on the water. We enjoyed it, but we just didn't have the space. So she found this boat, and we fell in love with the floor plan. We fell in love with the space. And when we bought the boat, we were told, don't take it out in a windy condition. Well, Arizona, I'm thinking windy condition means monsoon. So, okay, of course, I'm not going to take it out when it's, 16 knots of wind or whatever. When we got the boat, the first year, I'm learning to drive it and thinking it's, just a matter of feeling it out, feeling the nuances of how the boat handles in wind and chop and so forth. And it was a lot of fighting the boat, docking it, getting fuel, and we were just finding that it was no longer fun. I spent a lot of time on the wheel trying to learn how to maneuver the boat better, and I got really good at it, but once that wind kicks up, it becomes dangerous. To further that, you can't predict the weather here. Lake Pleasant has the locals like to call it Lake Unpleasant, because the winds they're unpredictable. Depending on how all that went, it increased my anxiety of, hey, let's look at the weather. I mean, to the point where it was almost neurotic. Look at the weather, look at the wind. Okay, the wind is above this, I'm not going out. We had to find a better solution. So we looked at other products, we looked at other solutions, looked through the traditional, the through hole, and so forth, and that's where we found the Sideshift. And once we found the Sideshift, it just made the experience so pleasant. That's the thing, is when we were out there, time-wise, prior to having Sideshift, I would sit there and we'd watch the clock. Okay, by this time I have to get in because I know the winds are going to start kicking up. And in the weekend especially, we have a lot of neighbors that have boats, kayaks and stuff that are out in the middle of the channel. I can't part it and clear the channel. So I have to become better at controlling the boat, maintaining control, and that's where Sideshift absolutely helps. The routine it starts off with this guy, and this is my favorite toy right here. This is my favorite toy, and this is the Sideshift hands-free remote. And what it allows me to do is to go down to the dock side and remove the ropes on my own. And then I board on, and then my wife is the spotter. She lets me know when I'm clear in the rear. When you spin a boat around using the direct drives, there is especially in this boat, that circle in which to maneuver is fairly large, right? And what I found is with the Sideshift, it's nearly a dead stop, and she will rotate on a dime. The first time I brought it in would have been nerve-wracking for me. I would have bailed on it, and I would have went back to my hold pattern. But on my first approach in, I said, yes, I can do this. I can do this now with the tools I've got. And sure enough, I got it in on the first shot. And the guys were sitting there in the water, and they were cheering me on, and the first thing they said is, "That was awesome, how'd you do that?" One of our neighbors had a friend that was just visiting for the day, and he turned and looked at us and said, "You've got to be the first couple that I've ever seen where you guys weren't fighting landing the boat." He goes, "That was fantastic." That was one of those cool moments that I was not expecting, and I was pleasantly surprised. Had I known those from the beginning, I wouldn't have waited as long as I did. Sure. And it's one of those things that's like, wow, somebody's got to tell somebody, and it's just so amazing that that little product gave me back my boating experience.